What if letting go of just 27 things could change the atmosphere in your home? What if a peaceful atmosphere was just 27 decisions away? Today, I'll show you the 27 things that I decluttered in my home to bring a peaceful atmosphere and simplify my life so you can declutter them and simplify your life for a peaceful atmosphere in your home as well. And stay to the end and I'll share one of your decluttering questions. All right, here are the first 7 things that I decluttered. DVDs. Y'all, we don't even watch DVDs anymore. I've gone through DVDs so many times, and for some reason, somehow they keep creeping up and I keep finding more DVDs. These I don't need. Another thing I decluttered, CDs. I can't even tell you the last time that I listened to a CD. Rascal Flatts, Melt my heart. I super love it, but I have the digital version anyway. I don't listen to this. These are clutter, so yeah, the CDs, gone. All right, my deep freeze died. Broken appliances. Gotta get rid of them. Just get rid of those broken appliances that are taking up space that you need for other things or to have nothing in the space. I got rid of unwanted clothes. I decluttered my clothes closet. That's pretty much all the clothes that I have. I do have, let's see, I count them. I have 17 things in another closet that are for winter, but I didn't want to be going through passing over winter clothes when it's summertime. So the next thing I decluttered was books. This is the next batch of books that's going out the door. I have decluttered an enormous amount of books. And these are the ones that I have saved. I do have some in digital form, but these are the ones that I'm going to keep. These are going out the door. I'm so excited. So I also decluttered outdated electronics. We actually tried to use this a while back and play some movies for the kids, but it didn't work. It made me so sad. And I have a lot of tapes. I don't know if I'm going to try to figure out something to do with them, but this is not going to happen. So long, outdated electronics. I decluttered unnecessary papers and documents. I love a good notebook, and I have held on to these notebooks for so long. Notepads. These are like rabbits. I don't know how they multiply so quickly and so much, but folders, I just love stuff like this, but I don't need it. Y'all, I feel so free to let this all go. This is all gone and decluttered. All that paperwork that piles up, go through and just get rid of it. It will make you so happy to get rid of the paper that you don't need. All right, let's do a mid-video poll. What is the hardest thing for you to declutter? Is it A, kitchen gadgets, B, sentimental items, or C, clothes in your closet? Or is it D, something else? Vote by putting your answer in the comments below, especially if it's D, then tell me what that is. Now let's move on to more challenging things like old photos. I got rid of a lot of old photos, and it's so freeing to not have all of that clutter. Look, these are my photo albums over here. So look, I have a lot of photos still that I want to keep those. My kids come in here, my grandkids come in here, and they look at these old photos. Here's the thing. I think we should be printing more of our photos. My grandkids love looking at these. I also have photos on our TV, so those can play. They enjoy those. I've got a digital picture frame. So those play the photos, but some of these photos I just don't need. I still even had a bunch of pictures of my kids, like their pictures in the 7th grade. You know how you buy the packages and you've got the 8x10 or the 5x7, and you've got all the wallets and then all the little minis. And I had so many of those pictures. So I saved some of them and I made a box for each of our boys and put pictures of them, that they would want in their box along with some other things. And then I've got boxes of kind of then their families. Now, this I will probably keep this photo. This was one of our very first Christmas trees. I don't know. I like it. It makes me happy. So, but a bunch of old photos, let's just get rid of those. Another challenging but necessary thing that I decluttered was old mementos. Now, I got rid of a lot of things. My boys were not going to want those. My grandkids wouldn't even have wanted some of that stuff that I carted around for so many years. Some things though that I did not get rid of. This was my grandpa Link's phone, and it was always in his shop when I was a kid growing up, and we just loved playing on Grandpa's phone. I will show you next week how I'm going to do an organizing video, how I organize the things that I declutter, the things that I kept, how I organize those. One of the things that I'll show you is how I organize what I did with some of my mementos and old sentimental things that I just want to keep. And I will say this too. This has been a process. I dripped things out because I'm a sentimental person and I would just keep everything, but I can't do that. I just let things go a little at a time. And I'm okay with that because it's like you let something go and then you realize down the road, well, okay, I don't even miss it. And I'm okay to not even have it. And then you think, well, if I let that go, then I could let this go too. And then, I'd let that go and I'd be okay. The world did not end. So that's how I had to do it because I'm at the point in my life where, I'm 58 and I no longer needed all of those old things. Maybe that's you too, and you can just finally, just start incrementally letting those old things go. So just give it a try. Let's go on to the next thing. I also tackled more practical things like unused dishes and glasses. So we used to have family dinners and we would have all of the beautiful plates and the chargers, and I did the whole thing up, and I liked these glasses and we had these, and now we just don't do that anymore. Now if we do up a family dinner, it's like we're going all out. We are buying the Chinette and not the Walmart plates, like that's us now. We had a season in life where we did up dinner and it was, all of the pretties on the table. But honestly, we don't care. We don't want to do dishes. So these are gone. And I also decluttered kitchen gadgets. I hung on to that pineapple core because, I was really going to use it and I tried, but I could never really get it to work great for me. Go through your kitchen gadgets and see if you have these things that, obviously that's not a pineapple core. The things that you just don't use, get rid of them. Quit letting them take up real estate in your house. Another thing that I decluttered was unused linens. This is where I would hang all of my tablecloths. And I had so many red tablecloths back when we really did up Christmas dinner, with like real plates and everything. But yeah, we haven't done that in quite some time. So I got rid of those. Now I have one tablecloth left. That's it. And I got rid of all of the other ones that were just hanging there that we never used anymore. And I got rid of old towels. I had an enormous amount of towels, and some of y'all, I'm so embarrassed that they were afraid, on the edges, and they weren't even any good anymore. And so when I bought new towels, I just hung on to the others. So I had too many for two people, and I did keep enough though for whenever the grandkids come over. I still had plenty of towels, but I got rid of the old ones because too many towels and they were ratty. So the next thing I decluttered really needed decluttered, and that was my cable drawer. I keep extra cables in here, and I had a lot of them. And I even hate to admit that I had cables that well, I had no clue what they even went to. I don't even think they make products anymore that those ends would fit. I was able to release those, and then a lot of extra cords that I didn't need anymore. And so now I just have just this little uh, box, a little batch of cables left, and I don't have a bunch of cables running everywhere. And I decluttered broken items. You know, some things we keep around thinking, well, you know, like some features work, some features don't, but then you just end up not even using the thing at all. But I don't know why we hang on to stuff like this. If it didn't work, I just got rid of it. Okay, now this is a big one. I decluttered things that were emotionally draining. For instance, this is just a simple file folder, and it's fantastic, right? Great, super useful. Loved it when I used it. However, the project that I used this for, it would just like drain the life out of me. So I repurposed this to use it whenever that project was over. I did not enjoy the project at all, like zero. Well, when that project was over, I just repurposed it and put something else in there. But you know what? Every time I looked at this thing, it just reminded me of that project that I hated working on. So you know what? Declutter things that are emotionally draining, and it's so liberating. Here are the last 10 things that I decluttered. I decluttered my utility drawer. This used to be a junk drawer, but I no longer have a junk drawer because everything in here is useful. However, I had to go through and be very intentional about having everything in here being useful. I decluttered this, and this stays decluttered. Now, in next week's video, I will talk about organizing tips and kind of after you declutter, how to organize things. And we'll probably talk about my utility drawer. Stay tuned for that. Another thing I decluttered was old planners. I used to keep them forever, but I finally realized I don't need to keep these old planners forever. Just keep what you need, let go of the rest. Okay, so check this out. 1, 2, 3. 3 bags of unwanted products in my bathroom. I went through the cupboards, the drawers in this bathroom, and all of this came out of these drawers. Y'all, look, curling irons. This is full of curling irons. I use one, well, maybe 2, but I just had so many extras. I had, stuff from whenever I colored my hair, which this is the grow out. I'm not coloring my hair anymore, in case you haven't noticed what all this gray and brown is about. I quit coloring my hair. So I have all of this unwanted stuff that I'm getting rid of, and the drawers look so much better. All right, so while we're in here, I decluttered old skincare and makeup. I had stuff that I just wasn't using more. I just don't even like to keep much stuff. So this is my makeup bag. In my organizing video, I'll kind of go over some stuff with this. But I just got rid of, like foundation that I wasn't wearing, just wasn't the right color. Or I had some lipsticks that I didn't really like to wear anymore. So I got rid of all that. And this is so much better. I decluttered my grandkids' toy box. Now, they pretty much only play with these Barbies, and I've got several stuffed animals in there. Kids get so many toys, and when they have so many, then they don't even know what to play with. Kids have their favorite things that they play with, and the rest is just clutter. And I have several of these Beanie Babies that I keep for them. Mainly, now these are sentimental to me because whenever I was pastoring, every so often on a Sunday morning, Troy would come in and he would bring me a Beanie Baby that he would pick up when he would go to the mini mart and get his coffee. So I have several of these, and they make me smile. I like them. My grandkids, they like to sleep with them, and so they'll still play with them. So we do that. So I keep those kinds of things, but all of the rest of stuff they don't play with, I just decluttered all of that and just really simplified their toys. Now along those same lines, I also decluttered the games. My grandkids love to play games, and we had a lot of those. They play things like Jenga, Family Feud, Do You Really Know Your Family? They love that. Simplifying the games, only keeping what we play. That is so beneficial. Now, I also decluttered my pantry. Here's something that you should go through. Check your spices. I baked an Italian wedding cake. I realized that my baking powder was expired. It didn't taste like it was supposed to. It didn't have the oomph it should have. So check your spices to make sure that they're not expired. So I went through when I decluttered my pantry and just made it so much better because I could find things easily. Anyway, decluttering and simplifying your pantry, huge help. I also decluttered my home decor. I really like things simple, and I don't like to dust a lot of things, so I keep it very simple. I'll put something on this little table, but y'all, look at my plant that I haven't killed. Isn't it beautiful? I'm so excited. My friend gave me a starter from her plant, and I have not killed it yet. So yay me! I used to keep quite a few, like I would have stuff on the tabletops, even in the corners. I would have vases with flowers and just lots of stuff. And I just got tired of the whole thing. For one, you have to pick it up and dust it, or you have to pick it up off the floor whenever you sweep and mop or vacuum. And it's just so much simpler to just not have a lot of stuff. Here's the other thing is when we have too much stuff, then we can't see and appreciate the beauty of what we do have because there's just too much clutter everywhere. So just simplifying the home decor and just keeping it decluttered, big win. I also decluttered my craft supplies. Now, I know some of y'all have whole rooms, a whole craft room. And honestly, you would do well to simplify and declutter your craft room probably, because we can gather clutter just anywhere, especially in a whole room of something. But this was my craft box, and I kept my embroidery. My mama taught me how to embroidery when I was in grade school, but there came a point where I just didn't embroidery anymore. And so I thought, I'm not using this. It's taking up space, but got rid of what I didn't use, decluttered that so somebody else could enjoy it. So think about decluttering your craft space. I also took the time to declutter our coffee mugs. I don't really keep a whole lot in here anyway, but I had a mug that I actually just loved the size of it, but the problem with it was it had metal on the rim of it, so I couldn't microwave it. Well, I couldn't put that one in there. And so I would end up, just passing over that cup. So go through the ones that you keep passing over. Declutter your coffee mugs. It will save you so much space. And I decluttered my Christmas decorations. Now this and these are Christmas decorations. There's my wreath. I highly simplified my Christmas decorations. When I say the loft, this is what I mean. This is kind of my attic space, and this is all there is up here. It's just so much simpler, and everything up here is stuff that I want to keep and that I use or just really has a lot of value to me, and I'm okay with it being up here. I know what's here, and if I need to get to it, I can, because it's just so simple. So look through your Christmas decorations. And now I want to answer one of your questions, but before I get to that, if we haven't met, I'm Gwen. I am a retired pastor, and now my husband and I, we travel a lot with our archery ministry, so we need our home and our life simplified. Decluttering these 27 things didn't just free up our space, it freed up my time for whenever we are home, which I'm home most of the time, but we travel a lot, like I said. And I don't have to spend needless time going over things and shuffling things around. With my home simplified and my calendar simplified, my life is so much simpler. And it just frees me up to do the things that I want to do. I can spend the time that I want with my family, in our ministry, just doing things with my husband that we enjoy doing, because I don't have nearly as much things to manage in our home. All right, so here is the question that I get, and that is, how do you decide what to keep and what to get rid of? And really, for me, here's the criteria: is, does it have a use, and does it foster peace? If it's useful, I will keep it. But if there is no use for it, then there's no point in just having it and just keeping it, maybe out of guilt or obligation, or because, well, I paid so much money for it. Well, but is it just cluttering up your space? Then it's just not worth it. Just decide, you know what I paid for it, think of it, I don't know, maybe as rent. And sometimes we just have to accept and go, oh, well, because it's not worth it for me to hang on to things just because, when it doesn't have a purpose, or especially if it doesn't foster peace. Like, those things that you look at them and they just give you a bad feeling. It's like, oh, just get rid of that. You don't need that in your life. So that's really the criteria for if I keep something or if I let something go. And sometimes we just have to be brutal with ourselves. And you know what? For the most part, anything that we get rid of, if we really, really needed it, we could replace it. But I can tell you from experience, pretty much most everything that I've gotten rid of, I never even needed it again. And to have that space uncluttered was way more valuable to my peace, to my time, and just to allow me the freedom to do what I want to do and not have to manage all that stuff. If you are inspired to declutter after watching this video, please leave a comment and let me know. Let me know what you're going to declutter. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And be watching for my next video, where I will give you some organizing solutions to go with the space that you have just decluttered. Keep it simple.